The great thing about printing at home on our half-fold cards is that they're based on an 8.5 by 11 sheet that are scored right down the middle and fold to 5.5 by 8.5. Now, because you're printing at home, you can print anything on these cards. For example, you could make a wedding program. You could print the details on the inside. You could print a wedding invitation without anything on the inside. But today I'm going to show you something simple, and we'll print a child's birthday card together. And on this card, I've chosen to print on the front and then the inside right-hand panel. You can print on the front of your card, the back, you can print on the left and right, inside. It's really up to you. I'm going to show you how to make your own printing template using Microsoft Word software. Word differs from version to version depending on the year and depending if you're using the version for a PC or the version for a Mac. But we're going to be touching on the most common settings, so just poke around the interface, you'll find what I'm talking about. In Word, create a new document, and in the page setup area, set your margins to 0.5 all around. That's 0.5, top, bottom, left, and right. And then set your orientation from vertically aligned portrait mode to landscape. Now you should see that your dimensions are now 11 inches wide by 8.5 inches high. Most people will want to center align their text like I've done here and here. And this isn't a bad point in the process to do that. Now you'll find a series of paragraph alignment buttons toward the top in Word, so just click the center button. Once you do that, everything you type will be centered. Since the paper is scored down the middle, we'll set 2 columns with 1-inch spacing in between, and these columns will represent the left and right sides of our paper. In this greeting card example, I'm printing on both the front cover and the inside. So first I want to create my wording for the cover, and I'll do this using the right side of my template. The left side is going to remain blank, and the right side will be filled with this text and photograph. Now to do this, what you want to do in Word is space down, dropping line by line all the way to the bottom until your cursor actually lands right at the top corner of the right side of the page. And that's where you want to begin placing your text. Now you can enter your text and get creative with the font size, and even the font color if you're using a color printer. In addition to text, you can also bring in a photograph, perhaps a drawing that you've scanned, and in this case I used a piece of clip art from the Microsoft Word clip art gallery. Now if you right-click on the image that you import, there are formatting options to help you determine where it's placed on the page, how easy it is to move around the page, whether you want text wrapping around it, whether you want the image on top of the text or underneath. There are plenty of options. There's also resizing options and even some coloring options. When you're pleased with the work that you've done for your cover, make sure that you save it and name it so that you can get back to it if you ever want to make any changes. Load your half-fold paper small edge first into your printer like you would with any other 8.5 by 11 paper. You will need to understand the way scored paper folds to know which side is up and which side is down, and we address this in a separate video, definitely worth watching before dealing with scored paper. You're almost ready to print. Now if you're working on a PC, chances are you're going to have to go into your printer driver and change the orientation from portrait printing to landscape printing. On a Mac computer, the orientation is normally set to the orientation of the document. And since our document, the print template, is already set to landscape mode, we're all set and we can go ahead and print. Now that the cover is printed, we can go ahead and focus on what is to be printed inside the greeting card. And rather than creating a brand new template, why don't you go ahead and use the template that you created for the cover, just overwriting that data. When you're happy, Do a save as, name it as something that you'll remember so that you can go back and edit if you need to. When you're ready to print, load the original half fold into the printer in such a way that the printing will appear on the inside right panel of the card. Until you're confident about what side of the paper and direction that your printer prints, you can test print with ordinary copy paper. In no time, it will become second nature. Now that you've printed on the inside of your greeting card, you can fold along the score line and you're done. You've just made a beautiful personalized greeting card. If you have any questions about the printing process, please get in touch with us. We love answering your questions.